Welcome back to another episode of ICU. Today I have one of my clients from Road to Remission with me to share her story of getting relief from her bladder symptoms. So, welcome to the show, Sarah.
Hello, thank you.
I'm excited to take everyone through your story. It's a really exciting and transformative journey. But before we get into that, do you want to take a second and introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, so hi everyone. I'm Sarah. I live in Maryland, just right outside Washington, D.C. And I guess a little bit about me is I've been a teacher for the past 6 years and recently kind of left the classroom in hopes for a new career move. And I guess I love nature and music and eating lots of food and traveling. Yes, traveling a lot.
Heck yeah. You just got back from a 3-week trip. Where did you go?
Yes, I did. I was in Hungary, so we traveled all over Hungary. We got an RV and traveled to the north and the south, and we went to two music festivals while we were there.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah,
Is Hungary a good spot to visit?
it is. I think there's one, it's a really warm and welcoming country, and also there's a lot of history. So the buildings there and the architect there is absolutely amazing.
Okay, it's old and
Yeah.
cool.
There's no modern high sky rises there. The buildings are super beautiful, and just the country, the people there are so nice. The food's really good, and it's actually not that expensive. So
Love that. Okay, cool.
yeah.
Well, why don't we start off by can you share when your bladder symptoms started and kind of take us through what that whole process looked like?
Yeah, definitely. So I think we're actually coming up on, has it been a year or 2 years? I can't even
I think
remember.
a year.
It's been a year. Yeah. I'm
Could be
lost.
5.
I've lost count. So yeah, I'm coming up on a year of when my symptoms started to arise. They pretty much came out of nowhere. And now I know why they appeared out of nowhere, and we can talk about that later. But they came out of nowhere. I was at work and I went to the bathroom and I started having burning with urination. And I was like, okay, well, I think I have a UTI. And it was really painful. And I haven't had a UTI for, I don't know, probably over a decade. I think I had one when I was super young. So I'm just familiar with the symptoms, and I decided to go to CVS, Minute Clinic, to just get a urine analysis. I was like, yeah, I definitely have a UTI. Well, everything came back negative. So no UTI. And the lady there was just drink some cranberry juice or take Azo, but yeah, there's nothing here. You don't have it. I was like, okay, fine. I didn't do anything. I was just drinking a lot of water, trying to flush it out, so to say. But the symptoms were still there a week later. So I went to my gynecologist and was like, I have a UTI. I know I do. Do a more expensive test, so on and so forth. So I did another urine analysis, came back negative.
Doesn't that really screw with your head? It's you know your body best, you're trying to trust your body, and then it's okay, you're wrong.
I know.
But do we trust that? I went through the same thing.
Yeah, I was just okay, I know I have something, and I didn't know what IC was at the time, so I'm just putting a name to it with matching the symptoms with what I think it is, and just being no, you don't, and the test says no, you don't, so can't do anything about it. So basically, long story short, I got a negative, and then I went back to go see a different gynecologist at the same practice, and it came back negative again, but he was like, here's some antibiotics, maybe you do have a UTI and it's just not showing up or something like that. So here's a round of antibiotics, even though it's negative. I was like, okay, thanks. So I took the round of antibiotics and still nothing happened. And then I took Azo, and Azo was like not helping. I was like, okay, my pee is just like orange, red, whatever.
Now I still have pain, but it's orange now.
Right. And like stains the toilet. That's just so weird. Like, and that was the first time I ever took Azo. I was like, what is this stuff? Why is it doing this? I mean, so yeah, that was like the beginning of my symptoms. Like super lost, totally believed I had a UTI. No one believed me, and test results were like negative. So like here I am, don't know what to do. You want me to go forth?
Yeah. Yeah. What happened after that? Did they refer you to somebody?
No one referred. Oh, yes.
Like
no,
a
never.
urologist?
So backtrack. The last gynecologist I saw, she was just like, okay, I'm gonna send your urine off to like a lab to just do like a lot more extensive tests that we, can't do here. So basically she tested to see if I had like blood in my urine or all that other stuff. Ended up just being like, I had like some microscopic blood in my urine. And I was just like, she didn't really think anything of it, but at that time she was just like, I can't help you anymore. Like, I don't know what to do. So yeah, you should probably go see a urologist. I was like, okay, great. I guess I should. And I didn't have really any knowledge about urologists because why would I? I've never had any problems with my bladder or anything. So I kind of just went with someone who had like some good ratings on Google in the area. And I went to his practice, and wow, what did he do? Backtrack before that. I did end up going to the emergency room because I was in such a huge flare. Like, I guess for those months leading up to me going to see my first urologist, I was just so lost. I didn't know what to do. I was in so much pain. Like, it was really bad at that time. I was urinating every 15 minutes, like a lot of, like a very high volume of urination. And it was just absolutely crystal clear urine too. Which I was like, this is so weird. Nothing's happening. Like, maybe I have a kidney infection now because the UTI like went up to my kidneys or something. Did blood work in the ER. He was like, you have nothing and I don't know what to do. Here's some lidocaine cream to help you. I was like, okay, great. I don't know either. Then I went to go see the urologist. He did, the the culture for the urine test, see if it was a UTI. No, I don't. Did some blood work, nothing out of the ordinary. He was like, do a 2-week trial of taking like ibuprofen every single day. I was like, okay, sure. But I didn't do it because I just knew I'm someone who like I go with what my gut instinct tells me to do. And like, I knew that wasn't going to help me. So I tried it for like a couple days and I'm like, this is not working. Why am I continuing to like take ibuprofen for days or 2 weeks as he wants me to, but nothing's helping. So I went back after 2 weeks and he was like, okay, the next thing that we can do is a cystoscopy. And I was like, what's a cystoscopy? And he told me what it was. And I was like, oh my God, like, do I get put to sleep for this? Like, I don't know. Do you numb me? He was like, no, we can't put you to sleep for this, but I can give you like a little bit of like numbing cream on your urethra to maybe help. I was like, okay.
Something to take the edge off.
Right. I was like, okay, sure. I mean, at this point, I was like, I don't know what else to do. So yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So like, we booked the cystoscopy. I went there like full of anxiety, full of like, oh my God, he's about to do what? And then when
he's putting what, where?
I know. Oh, okay. Wow. And I asked him before, like, is this painful? He's like, no, not at all. Like, you're not really going to feel anything. I was like, okay, cool.
can't stand when they're just like so confidently like, no, it's not gonna hurt. It's like, have you ever had this
I know. I'm
done?
literally like, you perform them, but have you ever got one before?
Has anyone stuck a tube in your pee hole?
Seriously. I know for men, like they're very, secure for their things in there. So like, oh my God. Anyways, it was and when I got there, I was like, so can you put that numbing cream on? He was like, oh no, I don't do that, and we don't have any. I was like,
Sir, you literally said you were gonna do that.
right. I was like, okay, wait, what? No, like it was just like a mess. So like I'm like so clenched up, stressed. So of course it's gonna hurt more. He sticks it in and then had to take it out and stick it in again a second time. And I was like screaming. And I've never screamed before in like a doctor's office. And there's a guy in the next room over who's also gonna get a cystoscopy. And after my cystoscopy was done, he was like, does it hurt that bad? And the guy was like, and the doctor was like, no, it doesn't hurt. She was just like over exaggerating. I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
I mean, and I'm literally bawling my eyes out while it's happening. Like probably the most painful thing that like I've ever been through.
That's exactly how mine felt. I understand.
I was not expecting that type of pain. And already I was in a flare, and to stick something up your urethra when you're in a flare and then the after effects of it, my flare just got worse because of it. Because it's, I guess, like my urethra is already inflamed and just like, it was just so painful. Long story short, after the cystoscopy, he pulled me in his office and he was like, I see nothing. There's no cancer. There's no like cuts, no nothing. I don't know what to do for you anymore. So come back to me in 3 months if you still have the pain. I was like, okay, like, thanks. No thanks. Like you did nothing for me. And I left that office bawling my eyes out, like so lost. I had no idea what to do anymore. And I just started at that point, just like continuing to like Google search my symptoms and, IC came up. And then, so I went down like the rabbit hole of what is IC? And literally all I find is like, there is no cure for IC and you will feel this way for the rest of your life. So when you read that, your psyche just like goes into like a depressive state. And so I ended up going into a depressive state and I was like, oh my God, my life is over. Like, this is what I'm going to be like for the rest of my life. I can't deal with this pain. I can't deal with this. And I don't know if I mentioned before my symptoms, but my symptoms were like urgency, frequency, burning with urination, and just like pelvic pain and urethra pain, like felt like a lightning bolt like going off in there. And then so I just kind of like took it upon myself to find, I think like, I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it has to do with my bladder or my vagina or anything, but like, I think I need to see like a woman urologist who's also a gynecologist. So I found what are they called again?
A urogynecologist.
So I found a urogynecologist who worked with IC and worked with, lots of other things. But there was a wait list for like a month to see her. I was like, okay, I'm going to wait a month because like, obviously she has like some knowledge about IC and like works, extensively with it and all those other things. So I waited a month. I saw her. I literally came with her with a folder of like all of my test results and everything. And told her all my symptoms. And the first thing she said to me was like, you have IC. Like, this is just your symptoms. Everything that you're showing me is IC. And I was like, I kind of knew it, but I was like, oh my God, I didn't want to be diagnosed with it, because just like what you hear and what you read. And basically I was like, well, what can we do? And she told me about the installations and I was like, I just had like the cystoscopy like a month ago. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything like that. No one's putting anything up there anymore. Especially like once a week, with like 50-50 results, you know, I don't want to do this, and insurance doesn't cover it, and it's just like I'm not about it. I'm not for it. I'm also someone who's very like into holistic health, and before going to like invasive procedures or prescriptions, I rather take holistic measures. And I've been that way for probably 15 years now, just from previous health things. And so I asked her about acupuncture and pelvic floor therapy, just because my friends who has endometriosis told me how acupuncture and pelvic floor therapy has really helped her. And I was like, well, why would that not help somebody with IC maybe? Because it's kind of like in the same area. So I mentioned it to her, and she did recommend me going to both and also going on the IC diet. And then she just handed me that, you know, piece of paper with like 4 boxes or whatever that, you know, general IC diet pamphlet looks like. And I looked at it and I was like, this is what I have to eat? Like, I can't eat anything? I can't enjoy life, you know?
Right. And you were what, in your 20s at that point?
So now I'm 31. I was what, 20? I was 29.
Okay. Late
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah.
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 So to like get this quote unquote incurable diagnosis and then be told you can't have your favorite foods anymore, it's like that's a huge shock.
Right. Like I'm someone who likes to go out to eat, who like likes to have a glass of wine. Like when I'm out, I love my morning cup of coffee. Like I love fruit. I love vegetables. Already, I don't eat gluten, dairy, and soy just because I'm lactose intolerant, and I have like a huge intolerance to gluten and soy. So I was like, okay, then this makes everything a lot more limited too. I was like, what am I going to do? This is ridiculous. So I took it home and I didn't really do it yet because I was like, this is insane. I went and booked an appointment with the pelvic floor therapist she suggested because she has worked with people who have IC for like 20 plus years. So she has extensive knowledge on it. I went and saw her and kind of like cried my eyes out to her, being like, I don't know what to do. Like, is this gonna help me? Da da da. And she told me, like, she was amazing. She was like, you will get better, you know, like you will, like you have to stop thinking that you're not going to get better, and like stop believing that narrative, and just like stop believing also what is online or what doctors tell you, because this is, you know, quote unquote curable. You don't have a disease, nothing is wrong with you. But it will take time to heal, you know, it's not an overnight fix. And I understood that coming from like a holistic background too. Like, yes, like, and I've experienced it before. Like, if you want to heal and like change holistically, you have to be okay with knowing it's going to take time, because there is no magic fix. There is no pill. And if there was a pill, you're not really getting to the source of the problem. You're just masking it essentially. So I love her. I still see her. And then I went to the acupuncturist too, who has extensive knowledge on IC as well. I started seeing her twice a week, and I started seeing the, oh my God, the pelvic floor therapist once a week. And that was in the beginning. So like now I see them both once a month. But I was really like seeing them a lot, because I really wanted to heal. And then I went on the IC diet, just because. I didn't really know why. I was like, let's do it just because. And I went, you know, on my honeymoon and like didn't drink coffee and didn't drink alcohol and didn't really like, I like had a bite of this, but I was like so scared it was gonna flare me, you know, or I was like so terrified. And then so I would get in a flare because I was just so terrified. I kind of like psyched myself into a flare. And like I just really didn't know what to do anymore. And then I found you. I found you because I was on in the rabbit hole on Reddit, and then someone suggested it was like a positive post. I
Shocker.
yeah, it was a positive post about like I don't even remember what it was, but it was like um you should listen to, Callie's podcast. And I don't even remember which podcast it was, but I clicked on it and I was like, oh my God, there's someone out there like me, or like there's someone out there who's like talking about this. And then I listened to one of your podcasts, and then the next day I signed up for your program because I was just like, oh my God, like, wow, there's something out there that could help, and there's a community of people out there. And it was really amazing, really, really amazing.
That's
Um,
so funny. I shit on Reddit so hard, but this is one instance where it's like, wow, thank you for that one person who said one positive thing about me. Like, when
Seriously.
I think about Reddit and my name in the same sentence, it's usually like people trashing me. It's like a trigger for me.
Absolutely. No, I know. Definitely. I mean, I think I went like so deep in Reddit, like read like so many comments, and then you were in there and I was like, "Oh my God, okay." Like cuz everything was so negative, and then there was just this one positive, and it was you.
Everyone reacts to that a little bit differently because I've had people like you who are just like waiting for someone to say something positive about you can get relief. But then there's other people who buy into that narrative of this is incurable, you won't ever get relief. And
Right.
then when I say that relief is possible, they're like, oh, you're just a grifter. You're just making that up. You don't even have IC, do you? And it's like, oh, that was the complete
Little do
opposite
you
of.
know.
So I'm glad that it had a positive effect on you, and I'm glad it led you to finding us.
Yeah.
So what time did you join? Was that in like the spring of 2025?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What
I was
did
Go ahead.
what did the first few weeks look like for you? Like what was your first impression of it?
I literally just was like, I dove deep into the program. Seriously. I was like, cuz I just like I had belief. Well, at first no, I didn't. I did not have believe that like I was going to get better, because I think I was just so deep in like depression and anxiety about this. Just like I think I was in a flare for an entire year. Like I had no days off of being in pain and being in a flare. So I didn't believe, I was going to get better. But something inside of me was like, you have to just dive deep into this and like watch the videos, learn about, the nervous system, all of that. And once I started, and this is before we moved on to Circle, so like a different platform.
Yeah,
Um,
that for everyone, we not recently, I feel like it's 4 months ago, we updated the program and we switched platforms. So that's what Sarah's talking about.
yes, yes. Um, and I was just like watching all the videos, and one video that like still stood out to me was like the bladder training video. And I was like, wait, what? Like, and just all about like how the nervous system is connected to your bladder. And I was just like, I'm mind blown at this point. And then I really actually started doing the work, and then I started seeing results. I was like, this is insane. And I mean, I think also one of the first things that I did was write out, and I forget exactly what it was, but I wrote out like that I will heal, and like the three things that I forget what it was, like that I'm going to do, or like that I'm going, or like something that's going to change within like the next couple months. And I think one was like change my belief system around like being so negative into a positive, and fully believing that I'm going to heal. Um, oh, I think it was like my three wants, and wanting, like my flares to not last months, and then understanding like what to do when I have a flare. Because I was so lost of what to do when I
So
had
I
a
actually went back in our notes and
yeah.
we have everyone put like, what are your goals for the next 3 to 6 months? And is it cool if I read these, what you
Please
put?
do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want
Okay,
to
you
hear
said
too.
I want to fully understand IC. I want to be able to know what makes me flare, have less flares, and go more than 2 weeks without a flare. I want to pinpoint my triggers and learn how to take control of my stress and have confidence that this will not be me forever. I don't want to have fear over if this or that will give me a flare and to stop thinking about my bladder and pain and OMG, I feel good now, but maybe tomorrow I won't. I want to stop living in fear and trauma.
Oh my God. Yes. Because that's literally what it was. That was literally what it was. Oh my God. I love that. And look at
I
me now.
know.
And look
Look
at
at
me.
you now. We'll definitely talk about the now for sure. I really want to make sure we fully get through and show everyone like how you got to where you are now. So yeah, you know what? Why not just tell everybody how you're doing now and we'll talk about the in between.
Yeah. Now I'm in remission, as I would say. Like I'm not gonna say like I'm 100% healed, because or maybe I can, because I've had, I think, maybe two or three small, tiny flares, but they are nowhere near what they used to be. They're like 1/100th of what it used to be. And I know my root cause now, why I guess had IC or got IC and have IC, and what triggers my IC, and I know what I need to do when I'm in a flare to make it make them last a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, like I really did need to, like dive deep into healing myself from within, um, and not from like the outside in,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I would love to talk about all this root cause stuff. So, what was your root cause? Let's start there.
Yeah. I think like I knew what it was. And part of me knew what it was. Part of me also was like, I don't know too, just because like I didn't have much knowledge on IC and didn't know that there could be a root cause for it. But it's nervous system dysregulation and pelvic floor dysfunction, but more so on the side of nervous system dysregulation, because that, and what I've learned too, when my nervous system is dysregulated, it causes my pelvic floor dysfunction. Um, so those, and I had nothing, it has nothing to do with diet.
Yeah, say it louder.
I drink my coffee, I drink my margaritas, I eat all the spicy food. Like I do all those things. It has nothing to do with diet. But I did do the elimination diet, to make sure it wasn't, to rule that out. And I mean, while doing it, I was like, oh, why am I doing this? Because I know it has nothing to do with diet. But I was like, no, we need to do it anyways to rule it out.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
long did it take you after jumping into the education component? Like, how long did it take you to identify that your nervous system was the issue?
I think like even before like your program, just by being a teacher, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate out there too who are teachers, your nervous system is, excuse my language, fucked up. Like you are on fight or flight all day, every day. And I work with the little ones, or sorry, I worked with the little ones. So I'm on my feet all day, and my nervous system was just dysregulated to begin with, like for years now. So I kind of just like, sorry, I blanked out on your question. What?
How long did it take you to identify that
Oh, right.
your root cause was the nervous system?
I I don't think it took me long because I knew already that my nervous system was dysregulated. So
It sounds
honestly,
like it was just validation once you got
yeah,
into
pretty
it.
much it was validation, but I also like didn't really have a lot of knowledge too on what actually is nervous system dysregulation.
Yeah, and you
I
probably
just,
needed help creating a plan for, okay, now we identified this, how do we address it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because like I knew about like things that you could do to quote unquote relax, or take steam off, but I didn't know anything about nervous system dysregulation and like the tools and you know, there's work that goes into it.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear like what did that work look like for you and like what was the timeline on like how soon you got noticed relief from your symptoms?
Let me go back and think. I I feel like it was so long ago, but it was literally just like a year ago. I feel like I've done so much and within that and like healed so much within that year, it feels like a blur sometimes. um Honestly, I saw results like really fast after learning about my nervous system and putting in the work and really like doing the nervous system series in the program and putting in the work because I knew nothing was going to change if I didn't really change. Like I could say so much, I could identify that it was, dysregulated. My nervous system was dysregulated, but if I didn't put in the work and if I didn't put in like the understanding that nothing was going to change. So I really took the time to watch the videos and put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
I saw
Yeah.
results and then I saw results like pretty fast and like also going to like the group calls and like really diving into the community too really just helped me and really helped me feel like I wasn't alone. And I think that's something that's like super big because when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the thick of a flare, you feel so alone and you feel like no one out there understands you and no one's ever going to get you. Like you could tell your symptoms to your partner and to your family and they could feel bad for you and they could feel like what can I do to help you? But in reality, it's like you can't really do anything to help me, you know? So it was really nice to know that there are other people, especially women out there who know exactly what I'm going through and I've been through it. And like, I also like saw get relief and get help and become in remission from this as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's powerful being in a group like that.
Yeah.
And it's always so cute for me watching people like check in with each other each week and like form these friendships. Like
Yeah.
we were on a call yesterday and one of our group members was like, it was her turn to talk and she was just like, I'm so happy that you had this win and then so and so I'm so sorry to hear about this and like it was just really cute and I love that
Yeah.
for our community. So lucky to have such like encouraging and supportive women in this group.
Absolutely.
Um so basically you noticed results pretty quickly after identifying that your nervous system was the problem and putting in the work. So when
Yeah.
you say putting in the work, that meant watching the classes, getting an understanding, learning stuff that you can be doing and like changes you can be making. Like, what did that actually look like in practice for you on a day-to-day basis? What did you have to change?
Yeah. Well, definitely what I also would say that helped me, and this might not help everybody, out there, or it might have helped people, but I was very diligent too with going to acupuncture and pelvic floor therapy. Those kind of felt like therapy to me in a way because my acupuncturist, she's amazing. I absolutely love her. Like, bow down to this woman. She knew that like my nervous system was just dysregulated and that was causing all the things that was going on in my body. So she really focused. She didn't like put needles in places just for my bladder. She focused on like overall like healing. Um and every time I left that session, maybe I was having like urgency and frequency that day. When I left, I did not have it anymore because she really helped regulate my nervous system through like those trigger points. And going to pelvic floor therapy too, like that also felt like, it's called pelvic floor therapy, but I really felt like it was therapy for me. It felt like it released like a lot of triggers or like unstuck trauma in my bladder region or pelvic floor area. So I was really diligent with going to those sessions weekly, and also learning about, like I started off really small too, like washing my face in the morning with cold water, or putting, an ice pack on my chest at the end of the night. Reading a book at night instead of like looking at my phone or scrolling, or really just like taking time to just like be in the moment and be okay, and like know that kind of like positive self-talk, um knowing that I will get better, knowing that this isn't forever, um being okay with like, okay, you're in a flare now, it's okay, like do what you need to do, but you will get better. So I started off really really small. I really tried to like not put on so much pressure on me to like heal, like do everything right now and try to heal everything right now, because I knew that would just make me stressed and give me like anxiety and not help in a way, because like I also have, like this perfectionist side to me, which I also really needed to learn, and I'm still working on today. Like those things don't change overnight, but I like became so aware of the things that like are affecting me, that I knew those things kind of needed to change, but I gave myself like grace with it and just took the time, really. I also like made like kind of like a commitment to myself, like within myself, like even though like I'm still going to live my life, I'm still going to work, I'm still going to do everything, but this year, for the past year, was like I really dedicated to myself to like healing, and really understanding how to regulate my nervous system, like really diving deep in it, like reading some of the books, going to like, our book clubs that we have in the program, talking to people, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like there were some physical things that you did between the therapies you were doing and some mindset shifts and just working on like positive affirmations and reaffirming to your nervous system that you are safe. And it's usually not just one thing that helps people. It's like a collection of little practices and tools that the combination is going to look different for everybody, but you eventually through trial and error find out what works best for you.
Absolutely. And like through trial and error, I know what tools, say if I have a flare, I know what tools like I need to use now to like help me get out of it quick, in a way, Um, but really, yeah, it was like a combination of a lot of things to help me reset, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's so true. And I remember last week you posted in our group like a win of you had a minor flare up, but you no longer like have fear about your flare ups. Like, and I just think that that goes such a long way. And that's really the goal of the work that we do. And I'm currently going through pain reprocessing therapy, like the certification, and that's like the main focus of what we're learning that we need to help our clients and our patients with is like we need to help you overcome that fear and let your nervous system know that it is safe. You're not
Yep.
just walking around being followed by a lion all the time. Like it's it's all about how you respond to symptoms. That's what's going to make the difference. And that's
Absolutely.
not going to be an overnight fix. It comes with practice, it comes with staying consistent, but that is something that you have accomplished. And that's why, your flares are a lot milder and a lot shorter in duration.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember too something that um what was the first book that we read that was in the book club? What was it called?
The pain reprocessing therapy workbook.
Yes, absolutely amazing book. And learning to like say this, and this was in the beginning of like when I was, healing. Um, say I was in a flare, I would like talk to my pain, talk to my bladder, be like, thank you, pain, for showing up. Like, you're here, but you're not in control. Like, I'm in control. And I also didn't refer to my pain as like pain. I referred to it, I think it was like as symptom or
Or a sensation.
or sensation. Yeah. And that kind of, even just like the framework of just like renaming pain to something more, I don't know, nicer.
It feels less severe.
Exactly. It didn't feel like an emergency, or like it didn't feel like I was dying anymore. It felt like I have control. Like, okay, like, let's breathe through this. I recognize you. Thanks for showing up. You're like here to like remind me I have a bladder or like your urethra or something, but like, you're not in control. I'm in control. And I would breathe through that. I would do like belly breathing. Breath work is also something that really, really, really helped me. 4-7-8 breath and just belly breathing and like visualizing like the belly breathing. And I would just breathe through it and talk to my sensation, and it would go away, honestly. Like, I really, until I started practicing that, like, and reading the book, I really had no idea how connected, our thoughts and like our brain is connected and in control of like the pain that we feel, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and with someone like you who had a cystoscopy that showed your bladder was fine, there was nothing structurally wrong,
Right.
that I think just validates more that this is nervous system driven. It helps you, I think, have less fear about like, well, what if something's wrong? It's like, okay, well, we already looked, nothing is there, nothing's wrong. I think it helps decrease that fear as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of Road to Remission? I'm curious.
That my favorite part. I mean, I love everything. I still love everything. I like, am in there like every day looking at, like everyone talking and, like the different topics. But honestly, I think like the self-paced learning really helped me, and it's something like I really loved. Like, just there's just so much information that's not out there, that's really not out there, or like really not even talked about, or like nothing that I would have ever thought of. And it really helped me put kind of into perspective what is IC, and like how I can, get to where I am now. And just like, there was just so much learning that happened.
It's
And
really funny you say that because on a group call last week,
yeah,
one of our members was like saying to someone else who had a question about hormones, she's like, Callie has this really good video on hormones and the pelvic floor on Circle, which is our platform.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, I'm sure. Like, I just watched it. And I was like, I literally have no memory of creating that video. Like, that just goes to show how much there is in this program. Like, if you add that on top of like these podcast episodes, the content I'm putting on social media, like, yeah, there's a lot. And even for me, it's hard to keep track of all of it. So I just thought that was really funny that I forgot.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you put so much, like there's so much information out there. You do so much, I'm sure you're like, did I do that? I don't remember.
Yeah. And I'm trying to find more that we can do for everyone. Like, and I think that might be the perfectionist in me coming out. So I think there's pros and cons to that, but I'm always looking for new, experts to come in and teach about whatever their expertise is in. And I always want to learn more. So that's why I'm doing the certification. We're going to have Beverly go through the pain reprocessing certification as well. So we really just want to be as educated as possible so that we can give you guys the best opportunities possible to learn. Because I just think like the more knowledge you have, the more empowered you are, the more informed you are, the more confident you are.
Absolutely. I mean, education is power, like education is key. I honestly think like without educating myself and like with all these videos and the books that I read, like I would not be here too, like in the position that I'm in now, because like I would still be looking on like Reddit and Google and like not knowing what to do, you know? But now I feel like so equipped with, and like I could help other people who have IC, you know, just by like talking to them about my story. Well, here I am on your podcast, so.
Here we are. So life's looking pretty good for you right now. Your, symptoms are minimal. You feel confident if any flares come up. You just traveled for 3 weeks, lived your best life at music festivals. Like
Yeah.
anything else that you're doing now that you couldn't do before because of your symptoms?
I mean, I'm someone like, well, when I was in my symptoms, I was just like so depressed. And so just really in the thick of it. I still was doing things, but like very limited. Like I just like limited myself. It was more so like, yeah, I would go out and I would still, go to functions and live my life, go on hikes and all of that. But in the back of my mind, my bladder was always there. Like I was always thinking about it. I was like, kind of like came prepared in my mind in a way, like, okay, what am I going to do if like I need to go to the bathroom? What am I going to do if I'm in pain? What am I going to do? So I was always like the what ifs. So I was always, I feel like in my head about it. Like my bladder was like in the forefront always for everything that I did. Now I literally do not think about my bladder. I pretty much could care less. And I, do everything. Like when we were just, and this is funny, like we were, just in Hungary for 3 weeks at 2 music festivals, and the festivals both lasted a week long. And I didn't think about if I was going to be in a flare or like if I have pain or like what if I'm going to miss this DJ set because I have to go to the bathroom. Like it didn't happen, and if I had to go to the bathroom, okay. I just had to go to the bathroom because I had to go to the bathroom, not because like of frequency and urgency, A year ago though, when I was in the thick of it, we were at a music festival and I was constantly like every like 30 minutes leaving like the dance floor to go to the bathroom because of urgency and frequency. And so my mind state was a lot different. So it's really interesting to like see the contrast of like a year, and to see where
Yeah.
I'm. Yeah.
It's like a full circle moment. I've been having a ton of those this year. Like I'm not going to get into it because of the timing, but like we're about to go to like Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and like 4 years ago we went there, and I was still having symptoms at that time. So it's going to be interesting to see how different it is. And I recently was at like a Jonas Brothers concert, and I was thinking back to like a couple years ago I was at one, and I had to keep going to the bathroom. And you're right, it's such a buzzkill to have to leave a concert every 30 minutes because you have to pee, especially if you're in like a general admission type situation. Like that is just a nightmare because then everyone's getting mad at you. You're pushing through and you're like, I promise I was in the front. I'm not cutting. Please don't hate me.
Yeah, exactly. Like you get the looks like, oh my God, you again. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I wish I wasn't doing this. Like
I know, like believe me, I don't want to be doing this.
Oh my God, yeah. So it's like your bladder used to be the main character, but now you're the main character of your story. And I love that. I'm always imagining like did you ever watch Lizzie McGuire growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that little animated Lizzie that would just be like going crazy. I'm just imagining there's like another version of us, but it's like our bladder that's just running everything. And
bladder version.
Yeah. I don't know. My brain goes to crazy places, but that's one way to think of it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to share that we haven't gotten into yet?
I don't think so. I hope I said everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've forgotten like little things, but I hope
Why don't you give anyone in the audience who's struggling right now, wherever they're at on their timeline of their journey, like any words of wisdom for those people?
Like you will heal. Honestly, like you just have to believe it. Like do not believe in your thoughts. Like and something I've learned too, just like throughout life, like your thoughts can be your worst enemy sometimes. Absolutely can be your worst enemy. So do not give in to your thoughts and know that like you are more powerful than them and that you will heal. It just takes time, you know, and if you really truly want to heal the root problem, like and get to the root cause, it takes time and you're just going to have to be okay with that, but you'll get there.
You will get there. And if you want support, you want guidance, Road to Remission is here. We have our regular version that Sarah was in. We have our self-study version. If you just want the education component, both are available. And yeah, we want to support anybody who is motivated, who believes they can get better, who's ready to put in the work. Because, you know, that's the thing about this program. It's people are like, can you guarantee I'm going to get relief? And it's like,
Right.
literally no, because we don't know how much work you're ready to put into it. Like we can't
Right.
predict that.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
always tough.
Yep. I'm right there. I understand that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, Sarah, for coming on and sharing your story. If anybody has questions or wants to chat with you, are you cool if I send them your way?
Yes, absolutely. Please do. I would love to.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.